tell me, when was the last time you ran a Naga? Because I have to say, I don't think I've ever been in a game where these have been present, and I myself have definitely never used one, mostly because they're in the CR8, CR10 range, and that's generally too high level for what I run. But however, I think there's a lot of potential to use them as background NPCs that influence the game and that the party can interact with in a non-direct combat way. So what is a Naga? A Naga is a guardian created by an ancient humanoid civilization that once was very powerful and then collapsed. No, it's not the elves or the dwarves or any civilization you know. It is undisclosed, but presumably reptilian. Because Nagas are giant snake creatures that are incredibly magically powerful, and they see themselves as harbingers of this past fallen civilization. They don't have to eat, drink, sleep, breathe air, and also, if you kill them, they will come back 1d6 days later, so long as you don't stop it with the wish spell. Of course, you can stop it one other way. Yuan-Ti are also snake people, and the Naga think of themselves as the best snake people. You get into a little bit of I'll call it a dispute, so I don't get demonetized. But the Nagas and the Yuan-Ti got into a dispute of sorts over who is the best snake person, and therefore the Yuan-Ti developed a ritual to halt the regeneration process of a Naga, and then it became a skeletal servitor called a Bone Naga. Their power is completely crippled. They don't get to regenerate if they die as a Bone Naga. Their alignment shifts to lawful evil. But the reason I'm making this video is because it's not actually clear if they're subservient to the Yuan-Ti or not. It's implied, but not explicitly stated. It still has a 15 in intelligence and wisdom and a 16 in charisma, and even though its alignment shifted, it still has all of its previous memories of the many hundreds, if not thousands of years that it was alive and regenerating. So it still wouldn't want to work with the Yuan-Ti, even if it becomes a skeletal servitor. And that's where we can make things interesting. Raw, there are 3 types of Nagas. The CR4 Bone Naga, which is lawful evil, the aforementioned skeletal servitor. The CR8 Spirit Naga, which is chaotic evil and is kind of your scheming, evil, likes to kill people because it thinks it's fun, I guess. Boring evil. And then you have the CR10 Guardian Naga, which is lawful good and also is kind of the platonic ideal of what a Naga was meant to be many years prior, back when it was the guardian of this previous civilization. And the interesting thing is that the Bone Naga stat block has separate spell lists for whether or not it was a Spirit Naga or a Guardian Naga in life. The Guardian Naga has more cleric spells, while the Spirit Naga has arcane spells to represent the fact that they were 2 different branches of the exact same spell-casting guardian of this civilization. Now, why do I bring this up? Because inserting a moral dichotomy into your game can be really interesting if your players bite on it. What do I mean by this? Well, Yuan-Ti make great fodder enemies, I'll say. They have CR under 1, they have CR around 1, I think they have a couple into like CR 3 to 5, so that means that even a adventuring party of around level 5 to 8, let's say, can reasonably be expected to fight low-level or mid-level Yuan-Ti adversaries and have it be reasonable threats. And if you have Yuan-Ti who have a giant bone snake fighting alongside them, that makes sense, because they're evil, they're snake-themed. It's an evil snake. Yay! However, what if we have it that the Yuan-Ti are holding a captive Bone Naga that once was a Guardian Naga under their enslavement? And the only other Naga in the area, and the Naga that approaches the party and offers to help them, is a Spirit Naga. Suddenly, you have a good creature, the Guardian Naga, who was forced into servitude under evil means, forced and corrupted into becoming a Bone Naga, but with all of its prior memories, all of its prior desires, all of its prior wants, even though it is shackled as this skeletal servitor towards the Yuan-Ti. Then you have this free agent, the chaotic evil Spirit Naga, which, if you want to make things more interesting, you can lean more into the chaos aspect than the evil aspect. Yes, the Spirit Naga is willing to betray anyone in order to advance its goals, and it will scheme to take down the party eventually, but at the moment, it sees its hated enemy of the Yuan-Ti as an authoritarian threat that is bringing autocracy to the land that it wants to rebel against, and it wants to help the party do that. Man, I really need to make a video talking about alignment, like just dedicated, because woo, that would make this a whole lot easier if I had that groundwork out of the way. See, the way I treat evil in my games, at least not for extraplanar entities, is that they're self-serving. They will put their own desires over the desires of others. I often treat personally good versus evil as basically selflessness versus selfishness. Therefore, while the Spirit Naga might be self-serving, it might be scheming, it might be willing to betray the party, it's not stupid. It has a very high intelligence stat. It is going to utilize the party as a resource in order to accomplish its goals. And you're not going to be able to use a tool effectively if you break it before you get to use it, or even after you use it. You want to keep around useful tools to be useful in the future. Now, if the Spirit Naga is going to try to mind control them with Dominate Person or similar spells, that's another story. But the Spirit Naga may be an unsavory or shady individual, but it should not be actively harming the party when it wants the party to do its bidding. All of that being said, how does the party actually find out that this Bone Naga once was a Guardian Naga, and is there anything to do about that? The way I personally would run it is that I would start by introducing the Yuan-Ti as your normal threat, because they have CR1, CR5, CR7, a range of creatures that the party can fight even at mid-levels. And then I would just introduce them like I would any other threat. It could be that they ambush the party while they're on the road. It could be that the party finds that Yuan-Ti are raiding a small village. It could be that the party stumbles into one of their bases of operations and fights them in their own home turf. The main thing here is to introduce the Yuan-Ti as your upcoming threat, just like you would with goblins or orcs or any other threat. Then I would have a second encounter raising the stakes that's more difficult with more intense fight with the Yuan-Ti. However, I would also allow them to use skeletal poisonous snakes because, hey, why not? So now you've established that the Yuan-Ti are a threat who have necromantic abilities. In the second encounter, I would have the Yuan-Ti taunt the party and effectively allude to the fact that they have a larger skeletal snake on command that they just aren't using this fight. Because then the party thinks, oh, that's foreshadowing, this is set up payoff, we're gonna get to fight a giant bone snake later. And then, after this second encounter, have the Spirit Naga send one of its enthralled minions to get the party and bring them back to its lair. You have a negotiation with this scheming, evil creature that the party, because how many people regularly have encountered Nagas as players, the party probably doesn't know about it. So the Spirit Naga has full leniency to lie, cheat, steal, betray, mislead, or just be truthful about anything it wants. And it can be 100% honest when it says, the Yuan-Ti have developed a ritual to strip the flesh and regenerative properties from a Naga and convert it into its evil skeletal servitor. You would be doing a service to the world by slaying such a creature and its serpentine masters. However, the Spirit Naga might neglect to mention the fact that it knew that Guardian Naga personally back when they were both alive, and it was a rival of it. And now that the Guardian Naga has become a Bone Naga, it has had its regenerative properties removed, the Spirit Naga wants to finish the job and is willing to accompany the party to make sure that happens, because if the Spirit Naga dies, it'll just regenerate 1d6 days later. The goal here is not to mislead the players on an out-of-character level where you assume that the Spirit Naga is good and trustworthy. Allow the players to be suspicious of it. However, are they the sort of party that will look a gift horse in the mouth, or will they go along with it because, hey, we have this giant snake to help us fight the other giant snake? A win is a win. And I would also allow Arcana, religion, or history checks in order to allow the party and anyone knowledgeable about these sort of things to see if they know the history of Nagas, and if they know the difference between a spirit Naga and a guardian Naga and a bone Naga. Don't be afraid to reveal things like the rivalry between the Yuan-Ti and the Nagas, or the fact that spirit Nagas tend to be chaotic evil. Allow the players to be suspicious of this Naga, but frame it in such a way that it's an enticing offer to help because of their incomplete information. Regardless of whether or not the party accepts or rejects the spirit Naga's offer, they are probably going to go, and if they're not probably going to, you should direct them and gently guide them via NPC and quest to go pursue the Yuan-Ti and finish this matter once and for all. However, then they encounter the Bone Naga. What do? They've heard all of these things from this obviously shady character, and they see it's a giant evil bone snake that is working alongside the evil snake creatures. But you should allow the party to make insight checks, religion checks, whatever is appropriate for the time to see, is this a creature that is actually willingly fighting against us, or is there something more going on here? Because if the party actually cares, they should be allowed to realize the Bone Naga is an unwilling servant of the Yuan-Ti, and perhaps in a combat where they slay all of the Yuan-Ti and it's just the Bone Naga left, it can use its 15 intelligence, 16 charisma, and a common language to parlay with the party. It has had its morals and its frame of mind and its autonomy corrupted. However, it is still an intelligent, sentient being that has the memories of its hundreds or thousands of years of being a lawful good creature. That should count for something. So the party parlays with this Bone Naga, formerly a Guardian Naga, and wants to help it. Let's say that the Bone Naga is willing to be helped and wants to work alongside the party. What now? How do they reverse the Bone Naga? I don't know. The actual ritual is not made clear. However, it is stated it is a necromantic ritual, and because the only thing to prevent a Naga's resurrection is the wish spell, we can assume it is less powerful than the wish spell. Otherwise, the Yuan-Ti would have just reverted and stopped the regeneration of this Guardian Naga. So I think it's fair to say that there's a spell or ritual that is 7th or 8th level because it's higher than the highest spell slot that a Guardian Naga knows, but lower than the spell slot required for Wish, that could prevent the regeneration of a Naga. And it just so happens that there is a 7th level spell which regenerates lost limbs and body parts and a large amount of hit points to a creature. Regenerate. And I mean, it's a little bit silly to say, hey, you're a skeleton, let's just regenerate all of your body parts and now you're fine, but why can't it work? It's a divine spell cast by some sort of cleric that would have the energy and ability to manifest a miracle. It's high enough level to be comparable to the sort of spell that would turn a Naga into a Bone Naga, and it literally regenerates the flesh of the creature it's being cast on. Personally, I think it's a perfect fit. So now the party is buddy-buddy with the Bone Naga. They know what they have to do to get it regenerated. They just have to go find a high-level cleric that can cast it, maybe go on a side quest. Maybe they have to deal with the ramifications and shenanigans of bringing around a giant lawful evil skeletal snake, and it's all fine and dandy. They regenerate the Bone Naga, it becomes a Guardian Naga, then they go and sweep the Yuan-Ti. But what happens if they agreed to work alongside the Spirit Naga? The Spirit Naga would probably go straight for the throat on this Bone Naga during combat, and the funny thing is, Nagas are actually pretty poor in a fight. They can really only bite and they deal poison damage, but Nagas are immune to poison damage. So it would be spells cast against each other, but they both have very high saves. So the Nagas would have a very poor time fighting each other, meaning it would be up to the party to deal the finishing blows on that Bone Naga. Because narrative can trump even mechanics, I would have it be that if the party works with the Spirit Naga to try and take down the Bone Naga, the Bone Naga would be knocked out of its whatever control the Yuan-Ti has of it, because again, it's an intelligent creature that can speak at least one language, and try to convince the party, no, I was a Guardian Naga, the Spirit Naga's lying to you. And now you have this mid-fight negotiation where the two Nagas are attempting to destroy one another, and the Spirit Naga has been obviously shady and shifty, but helpful. And the Bone Naga has been obviously evil and malicious, but is claiming it was forced to. Who does the party work with? What does the party do? And even if they kill the Spirit Naga and learn all the information we just discussed about the Bone Naga, the Spirit Naga is coming back. They're going to need to stop the Spirit Nagas. The wildest outcome here is that the party works with the Spirit Naga to go fight the Yuan-Ti. They fight the Yuan-Ti. However, hearing the Bone Naga's argument and thinking that the Spirit Naga was lying to them, they turn on the Spirit Naga, slaying it. So they work with the Bone Naga. And now they're in the Yuan-Ti's lair, so they have to work with the Yuan-Ti or steal information from them in order to learn the necromantic ritual, which, again, is around 7th or 8th level to cast. It would probably be a spell scroll that they would have to use and not be able to replicate in order to stop the regeneration of the Spirit Naga to convert it into a Bone Naga so that they could go slay it a second time. Obviously, that won't happen in every game, and as you might have noticed, the Yuan-Ti kind of filter into the background over the course of this, as the drama of between the two Nagas is the main driving force of this. However, I just thought it was a really interesting point of contention to play around with, not only the Yuan-Ti versus Naga conflict, but also the Spirit Naga versus the Guardian Naga, and the morals of someone who is evil but helpful, and someone who is evil against their will, and having to almost choose the lesser of two evils, but at the same time hopefully redeeming one of them. And if you do redeem one of them, then you would have to commit evil onto the other one by stripping its immortality. There's something here. Obviously, you can go way deeper into the Yuan-Ti side of things and have it be that all of the Nagas work together with the party against them, or you can have the party work alongside the Yuan-Ti to take down both Nagas, or you can have it be the party just slays all of them. I know this isn't really what I normally do. This was kind of like an adventure idea pitch almost, but I saw the Nagas and their conflict with the Yuan-Ti and the idea of a Bone Naga that could have been a Guardian Naga and reconciling with that, because Raw, there is no change in personality, there's only change in alignment. This lawful good creature became lawful evil, but it still has all of its intelligence and memories. This video was kind of all over the place. I hope it was coherent. I've been trying to be more extemporaneous and not script my videos, so hopefully I actually get to release this on time. If it felt off, I apologize, but have fun.